Hi, peace, hello. Oh my gosh, this is so bright. Okay, so I'm currently in my closet and my toddler, my child, my baby boy is sleeping. So I'm talking quietly, but hopefully when I edit the recording, I can turn it up a little bit. I look like a little bit of a mess today. I've got hives because of my cat, which I'm sure you'll see, or you already saw in the video. I'm actually like slightly allergic to my pets. But it's fine. So it's tea time. Welcome. I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm a little bit frazzled. I'm like always frazzled, but I'm more frazzled than usual. I guess I'm not always frazzled. I used to always be frazzled. Where do I start? I have been writing notes, and I have 4 pages of notes. And usually I only have like 1 or 2 pages, and I don't want to make this super long because I'm busy. If you haven't been listening to my tea time talks already, I am a mama. I am an educator. I work with kids at a Montessori school. I am also working on my yoga certification, which is why I'm like feeling slightly insanely busy. And I make videos. I'm also a writer, but I'm not currently working on any of my writing projects, just like my daily reflections. Oh, I'm so itchy. I really hope I don't wake up my son because he's behind me and I can't close the closet because of this shoe rack above me. Why am I in the closet, you ask? Well, I'm in the closet because I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, which is fine. I'm happy. I have a stable, healthy-ish home where I can sleep at night and not worry about it. Oh my goodness, this is gonna drive me crazy. Okay. I do snuggle my cat, but it's like worse after I shower, and I always braid my hair after my shower so I don't have to like do my hair in the morning. It just looks like I did something to it. And it's supposed to help your hair grow longer, which I don't know if it's actually true, but I've been doing it since I was like 12. I don't know. And it's really helpful when you have a kid and you don't have all that much time. But I chose yogi tea today because I am working on my yoga certification, my 200 hours. At some point, I'd love to get my 500 hour, but I'd like to actually go in person for that one. Because although it's really amazing that they offer an online 200 hour certification, I just think going and having like a retreat. Eventually, I hope to lead retreats. I just think it means so much more spiritually. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, so I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense, if I skip something, but yogi tea. We have yogi today. This was the first brand of teas that I really started drinking. I think my mom had some when I was growing up, and then when I moved out, I just started buying yogi tea most weeks. Like, I usually had tea. I wouldn't say I had it daily, like way back when I was 18, but I had it like probably weekly. Oh my god, stop itching. Stop itching. Okay. Anyways, I love their bedtime tea because in stress relief, a lot of their teas have licorice root, and it's like that natural sweetness, and that's just, oh, it just warms my soul. It's like my favorite thing ever. So in my yoga class earlier this week, someone pointed out in, I think it was called meditation and pranayama class, which they're on Zoom, but he had asked like if anyone else had struggled to send loving kindness to themselves, because we were doing a loving kindness meditation, which is like a Buddhist thing where you think about someone and you send them love and kindness and peace and ease and all the things that you would want yourself, but you send it to someone else. Well, I mean, you can send it to yourself. So that was his question, is like, when people imagine themselves in meditation, do you have a harder time loving yourself? And yes, absolutely. I actually have been doing a lot more of these loving kindness meditations, thinking specifically about one of my coworkers who I wish she could retire. She's just, you can tell she's ready to retire, but it's not an option for her. And also to two of my students I meditate on, because they struggle in the school environment that we have to offer them and their parents. And I just can't even imagine getting the phone calls that they have to receive and they have to discuss and do these meetings, because to be a parent and to hear that your child's hitting and disruptive and yelling and screaming and saying unkind things, like, they just need more love. They just need more kindness sent their way, because when you start isolating a child like that, or anyone, it's really hard to bring it back to love. It's like all the other kids and teachers know the situation usually, or at least pieces of it, and in a way they get isolated. And this happens at all schools. And usually it's just a phase, but sometimes the phase lasts longer for other people. So anyways, going off on a tangent, loving kindness meditations are really good. And this whole month of March 2025, if you're watching it now or later, just so you know, that's when it is. This whole month of March, I'm doing meditations. Like, I uploaded a meditation this morning. Last week, I think I did some breathing, and then at the end of today's, I'll do another breathing meditation, just a really quick 1-minute one. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can bring myself more peace and spread more peace, because I'm feeling so anxious. Just being so busy. And one of my goals this year was to slow down, and somehow it feels like everything's speeding up. But it's all things I want to do. It's all, well, aside from my actual full-time position, that one's okay, but I'd rather do other things. And that's why I'm getting my yoga certification, so hopefully I can teach yoga full-time. But I know that has its struggles too, so I think a lot of jobs just feel a little bit like slave labor when you're like, I don't know, when it's not something you dreamed of doing. And I know very few people who grow up and have the career that they dreamed of doing. Maybe one day that's the reality we will live in, but that's not today. But that's what I'm aiming for, so I'm okay being a little overwhelmed. And that's why I'm really focusing on those meditations, especially because they're a little bit easier to make than these tea time talks, which usually I just ramble on about, I don't know, who knows what. I ramble on about everything, anything, my past, my present, my future, other people, philosophy, science. I have a lot of interests. I'm kind of like a jack of all trades, but I don't quite have the knowledge of a jack of all trades. I told the person I interviewed that I was almost done with my yoga certification, which was a little bit of a stretch. I'm 36% and I have the audition in 2 weeks, and she said I have to have it by then, so that's why it's a little bit stressful. But I did that to myself, and I'm gonna push myself. And I actually have a pattern of doing this with school. I had a self-paced schooling, Western Governors University. They offer all the information, resources, texts, and you read it at your own pace. You do the modules at your own pace. And I tended to procrastinate a little bit, and then cram it all in at the end when I was under pressure. And that's kind of what I'm doing now, because I've had this certification for over a year and I'm finally taking it. But that's okay. Better late than never. On Sunday, pretty much right after I uploaded my last video, I was doing laundry because I do so much laundry. I do like a load a day. But I was doing laundry and I found my star pendant. So this feels so silly because this was from my childhood. There's stars inside, if you can see. It was like a little potion bottle. I mean, it still is. I found all the pieces. But when I did laundry, I pulled this out of the dryer, not realizing it was in my pocket. And I have a habit of keeping it in my pocket because it reminds me that I'm magical, which is a little cheesy, a little childish, but we all should appreciate our inner child, in my opinion. Anyways, I lost most of the stars, but that's okay. I'm just grateful I still have it. Because I was really emotional over it. I cried quite a bit because it was all broken apart. The top had fallen out and the two side pieces had fallen apart and the stars were everywhere. And I've had it for so long. It's probably the longest thing I've had since childhood. I don't even remember when or where I got it. I just know I've had it for a very long time. And I have this memory box literally right in front of me because I keep it in my closet. And it has like all my marathon medals and yearbooks and things like that. But this means the most. Out of all the things in this box, I could toss this box. I've actually thought about it a couple of times, but I don't know. I'm not quite that detached. Like, I really enjoy carrying these things with me because they remind me of happy memories, sometimes sad memories, and I think it's okay to be grateful for both. It made me really aware of the attachment I still have to my star pendant. It hasn't had a chain on it for a while. I just keep it in my pocket. But since that happened, I did not carry it with me last week. I've just been keeping it in my closet because I realized I don't want to lose it yet. But it gave me an opportunity to recreate the magic. I found all the pieces and I put it together. And it was just a little wake-up call that I am the magic. It's not this. It's not this tea. It's not my cell phone, although sometimes I feel like our cell phones are like magic wands because they give us what people 30 years ago would think are superpowers. Like we can talk to people across the world in an instant. I think phones can be both dark and light magic. I just deleted my social media again. Yeah. I deleted it until my birthday, so I'll go back on for my birthday, but I thought I could keep it on my phone and only go on once a week, and that's not how it happened because it's got this magnetic pull that is really addicting, gives you that dopamine hit, and yeah, so I deleted all my social media again. I think it's all about intention, how we use our phones, if we're using them as tools, as magic wands, or if we're using them as coping mechanisms, which I do a lot of, but I'm working on that. Do you have any attachments to any things, any people, anything that you don't want to let go of? Do you have a memory box like I do? I'm curious. I know only a handful of people watch these videos at this point, but that almost makes it better because I feel closer to my viewers, my followers or subscribers, they're called. I'm still newish to the YouTube world. I mean, it's been a year since I started making videos, but I am more used to social media, so I tend to call them followers, but they're subscribers. I actually feel like I'm becoming a leader. Like, I think I'm impacting those around me in a way. Like, I have followers, but I don't see it necessarily that way. It's just the best way to describe it. Like, going on lunchtime walks, other people have joined me or done the same thing. Making tea, I've been bringing tea boxes into work, and there's been a lot more people drinking tea, which I think is lovely, and we're all connecting with the herbs. Buddhism is another thing I feel like I'm spreading more of in a way, or more awareness of, because I've gotten some of my family members to attend the Zoom Wand Buddhism services that I've been going to. But I think it's really nice that I'm stepping into this higher self version of who I want to be, you know. This looks so funny compared to all my other videos. Being hidden in the closet, it almost looks a little bit creepy. My eyes are... You know, I didn't really know what I looked like until I started recording YouTube videos. And even now, I still struggle to imagine myself, which made it really hard for manifestation because you're supposed to visualize yourself as the person you want to be. And I really didn't know what I looked like. Like, I could picture my kid, I could picture my husband, my family, but I really struggled to picture myself. Like, we do these walking meditations in Wand Buddhism, and there's this mirror on the wall, and I saw myself, and it like scared me for a second because I have always been one of those people who flinches when I look in the mirror. Like, I thought mirrors were like bad portals, but turns out they can be both kinds of portals. So, I have changed my relationship with mirrors because, like, I brought this up with my friends yesterday because we had a girls' night. And I don't know if you guys remember, like, the Bloody Mary, like, you turn around 3 times and then say it, and I don't know, you're supposed to see her. Ew, heebie-jeebie vibes. That's not my kind of magic. I'm light magic, happy things, good feeling vibes. I think that's why this lighting environment situation feels off to me, because it's like dark, not really my vibe. But now I have started doing exercises where I look in the mirror and I talk to myself. I just like sit and talk. At first it started with like prompts where I would ask myself questions, and then I would set a timer and I would answer those questions. But anyways, speaking of Won Buddhism, I went to a service yesterday. They're every Saturday, and there were a few things that stood out to me in my meditation, the silent meditation. We had a newcomer yesterday, and he was like, yeah, the silent meditation was kind of hard. And I don't know, it's kind of nice to hear that from someone else, because it shouldn't feel hard, but it does. I mean, maybe shouldn't is all perspective, but you're sitting there doing nothing, and it's incredibly hard. I had this visual of a sketch of a turtle, and then it like started to form more, like as if someone had been painting it and there was like more color, and then I visualized the final product, and it got me thinking about how it's all a journey. Like, life is a journey, and people say that it's like a phrase, a saying that you hear often, but life is a journey, and we should enjoy it, because if we're always trying to get to the outcome, the end point, the goal, then we're missing the point. It's the journey that's the enjoyable part. Like, for my yoga certification, yes, I really want to be a yoga teacher and change my career path, but it's also finding myself in my journey throughout, like learning more about spirituality, learning more about myself, learning more about my physical body and about the subtle body, and all the opportunities that are coming along with having this new dream, like going out for auditions and having my coworkers come to me to do yoga with the kids. And it's these things that bring us joy, even if we don't feel like it. I think when we don't feel like it, like when we don't sense the joy, it's because we're too focused on the outcome. We're too much in the mindset of, okay, I have to get this done so that I can get there. So I have to keep reminding myself of that. And when you look at a painting, you can almost feel, like in a sculpture, any art really, you can feel the intention that went into it, all the effort that went into it. And you wonder, like, where did these ideas come from? Where do any ideas come from? Where do our thoughts come from? We can't really control them for the most part. I mean, maybe some really mastered yogis out there can control them. We might be able to let them go, but where do they come from? Where do they sprout from? What seeds are we planting in our lives, and what are we watering in our garden, metaphorically? And I am watering my yoga journey. I'm watering my YouTube channel. And I have to remember that I need to not focus on the outcome, because then I get discouraged. Like, for enlightenment, I felt like I had to be there. I had to feel this sense of enlightenment that everyone talks about, this like bam, wow moment where you just are awakened and you see life differently. And I haven't had that moment. I feel like I've been close in a way. I feel like I've been more conscious and more present and more aware at times, but I haven't had some big moment that stands out to me. But it's the meditations that bring me joy, even if they're hard, even though I struggle to let go of some thoughts. I am noticing myself improving, and I'm not ruminating anymore. If someone says something that bothers me, I actually notice the feeling inside my body. People used to say, like, where's the feeling? And I was like, I don't know where the feeling is. But now I can sense that because I have paid attention to my body and I'm learning these things. So that gives me this feeling of like reward. And her example at the Won Buddhism, I feel like I should call her a teacher or a guide, but there's probably a name for it. Actually, I know there's a name for it. I looked it up, but I'm forgetting right now. Her example was like water. We drink water. Water is neutral, it's even, it's the even mind. So she was comparing the even mind and the constant mind. Water is the even mind. It's baseline. It's not like we drink it and like soda, we get this spike in our blood sugar and we get dopamine hit. I don't know. It's more, we should focus on drinking the water or staying in the even mind, not letting our emotions make us rise or fall. We should learn how to come back to that even mind, because the constant mind is what causes us suffering. It's what makes us struggle, because the struggle is the difference between what is and what we expect. So that was a really nice service yesterday. The lesson, every time I go, it's like I hear the lesson and then I process the lesson and then I reinterpret the lesson when I talk about it again. Sometimes I talk about it with my family, sometimes I talk about it here, and every time I talk about it, I get something new out of it. Like, this is my perspective. What's your perspective? How do you interpret it? And I was kind of thinking about that during my walking meditation, was like, I need to focus on my perspective, not on the feet in front of me or the feet behind me. I need to look at my feet. So for International Women's Day yesterday, me and my friends from work, my coworkers, but I consider them friends, kind of celebrated, not really on purpose. I didn't know it was International Women's Day. I think we should always celebrate women and people in general, but it's nice to have a reminder that we should appreciate people. That's why, people are like, why have Valentine's Day? Why just show love on one day? Which you shouldn't, but it reminds you to show love. If we didn't have a day, I feel like we wouldn't show as much love. But I don't know. That's just my perspective. So we had a girls' night. We'd been talking about it all week because they both like Legos, and we kept saying, we'd actually been talking about it for about a month now. They kept saying we should do Legos together, and I had never really done Legos before. I think I helped my little brother growing up, maybe, but I feel like I didn't really do much. I would just help him find the pieces. And oh my goodness, Legos are hard. I struggled. She had a tool, though, that would take them apart because I kept putting it on the wrong spot, and we didn't finish. They were too big. But I got like halfway done. I also noticed I kept feeling like it, oh my gosh, when my lights went out. This is fine. I just really hope this light doesn't go out. Okay, anyways. What was I talking about? Oh, Legos, but I don't know. It was fun. It was like we were letting our inner child out. This whole light situation is like bothering me, and I'm feeling attached to the light, and I can't let it go. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm like almost done. I'm like halfway done. Okay, but I can hurry up. So I went and picked up my coworker. We went to a French bakery and a Buddhist temple that is not the one I usually go to. It was a new one. It was Tibetan Buddhism, it was a Tibetan tradition, but it's called Vajrayana Buddhism. They have deities and bodhisattvas, and that's why it's different than, well, that's not why, but those two concepts are part of why it's different than Won Buddhism, because Won Buddhism, I feel like, focuses on the self, and you don't really worship any deities. Well, this path to enlightenment, you do worship deities. That's part of the journey. And there's tantras, which are like esoteric texts, so the philosophy behind it all. I think there's a lot of philosophical texts for any, like, Buddhism or any religion, really. But they differ with the lessons inside. They use different language, different ideas. But I'd like to go back for a service. We really just went to explore the gardens, and they had like a little statue, like a Buddhist statue. So I put one of my little crystal mushrooms on it that I had in my car as an offering, because some people had put like teas and stones and money, and that's what I had. That's what came to mind. So I ran back to my car and put it on there, and I think the whole walk was like 1.5, maybe 2 miles. It wasn't very long. So then we went back and did the Legos and ate some lovely little French pastries, like croissants, and I don't know what any of the other ones are called. But one of my friends is from France, and she could tell you. I could not. They were delicious, though. It was kind of nice doing the Legos, because it reminded me that kids struggle too, because I was getting so frustrated with my Legos and my pattern because I did not understand what I was doing wrong. And I was like getting a little bit competitive. I was like, oh, they're going to finish before I finish. And I was like, I have to hurry. But I'm noticing my thoughts more. So I was able to be like, okay, chill out. Like, we're here to have fun. I did not finish my Legos. They're in a bag somewhere. I will hopefully finish them. One of my friends had pointed out that we all got objects from the Japanese culture, because I got lucky bamboo, and one of my friends got like the cat, one cat that waves, and then my other friend got a Japanese cherry blossom, which I also thought about getting. But I don't know, the bamboo was calling me, And then after we did Moonology cards, which was really fun. I feel like we connected over them, and it was the first time I read for anyone outside my family, and it seemed to relate to them. One of my friends was more excited because one of my friends got a bunch of like cleansing, clear out blockages cards, and then the other friend got like transformation growth cards, and I also got cleansing, letting go of things that don't serve me, which I did a lot of last year and I'm still doing. I'm trying to release the big thing, the job, which has been that one blockage for myself. I'm very grateful for my job, but I also want to really enjoy my job. And it feels like I need to cleanse the energy of the environment that I'm currently in, because it's not necessarily the job I don't enjoy, it's the environment. And I have another environment in mind, which is very possible for next year, the next school year. But I don't really have any updates there. Anyone who's been following my page, I have applied to a Waldorf school, which I feel like aligns more with me and who I am, versus the structured environment that I'm in, where I feel like I'm forcing children to do things that they don't want to do, and I don't want to force them to do that, but that's the expectation of the school. I'm shedding old habits, like binge watching Netflix and spending hours on social media, overeating. I need to cleanse my environment. I've been giving away some things, my body. I am fasting. I do intermittent fasting. I'm about to try my first 5-day fast. I need to just commit and say I'm doing a 5-day fast, but it makes me nervous. And I also want to listen to my body. If it feels like too much, I don't think I'm going to do the whole thing. Or not water the whole time. I've been thinking maybe I'll drink bone broth and olive oil and kefir. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Cleansing my soul. I was holding on to a lot of trauma from like my family, which my family's great, but you know, we all have flaws. I had a lot of religious pressures on me from my extended family. My wedding, my honeymoon, the birth of my child, my birth was traumatic. My parents are divorced, and I moved every year since I was 14, pretty much. Lived in so many homes since then. And I had some inappropriate sexual experiences that I feel like I am still releasing. Body insecurities, that's another one that I also feel like I'm still releasing. And I had a very low moment in my life with a very kind of a half attempt at my life, which I have moved on from. I don't feel depressed anymore. I was depressed for a really long time. I don't feel that way anymore, and I feel like I have healed that part of myself, but you never know. Sometimes things come up. Another one of my cards was the Law of Attraction, which was really cool because I'm all about manifesting right now. And my coworker knows that. She helped me. She held the cards while I picked them. So she kind of did my reading. Well, I kind of let her do it. I had her tell me, and then I talked about how I felt like it applied. We all sort of did it that way, where I talked about their cards and how I interpreted it, and then how they interpreted it. And I'm trying to attract things through like visualization. I don't know if you know Ramit Sethi. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's this finance guy, and he talks about creating your perfect day. What would it look like? And so usually every night I meditate before bed. At some point I'd like to switch it to the morning, because the morning is the best time to meditate for so many reasons. But I would like my perfect day to look like I wake up at 4 a.m. I meditate. I do yoga. I eat light, healthy food. Easy to make food, because I'm not a big fan of cooking. I create things. I spend time on art, writing, painting, videos. I connect with my family and I heal probably in the evening. And of course, my perfect day, there's a lot more descriptors that should go into it when you visualize, like, oh, I wake up, I'm gonna go meditate on this purple pillow by the window with a plant next to me. Like, you're supposed to imagine the whole scene while you go through your day. And you visualize it like you're looking in a mirror, or at least that's how I do it. Because I didn't, like I mentioned, I didn't know what I had looked like for so long. So when I first started manifesting, I didn't know how. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I visualize a house. And even that was hard to visualize what my dream house looked like. I still am creating my dream house, actually. But I've got the bedroom pretty down, so I guess that's progress. I do still have doubts in myself when it comes to manifestation and law of attraction. So that tends to stop those things from happening. Like for becoming a yoga teacher, I doubt my skills at times, but I have to follow up that doubt with, you know what, I do got this. I'm learning how to do this. And that applies for everything that I have doubts with. You have to talk to yourself like you're cheering on your best friend or your child. The last card I got was my higher power card, which was the most challenging one to step into my best version of myself. I still don't really know what she looks like, but I have a better idea than I used to. And some little points on the card were that my commitment is being tested, which is very true. Persistence is key. But I still have a lot of insecurities to overcome before I feel like I'm truly embodying the peaceful, compassionate, motivated person, creative person who I really want to be. This card was a reminder to be present in the now and how I'm becoming my highest self in every action, every moment, which is good because sometimes I'm doing laundry or dishes and I'm like, oh, this is not stuff I want to be doing, but it contributes to being able to relax and have time to do things like this. And versus if I had a sink full of dishes and piles of laundry, I would not be able to focus as well. It's important to have a good, healthy environment on the outside and the inside. Gotta nurture yourself. So I'm wondering, who are you becoming? Who are you embodying? Is it who you want to be? Or are you stuck in the past like I was? Something that stuck with me from the Won Buddhism service, I know I'm kind of jumping back, but was she mentioned a practitioner of peace. And so that's my goal for this week, is to be a practitioner of peace, to model peace in the world, to feel inner stillness, create balance within my subtle body, my physical body, my environment, and to model harmony and wisdom and peace whenever I interact with people around me. I feel like I need to hold space for other people more. A lot of times they'll come talk to me about issues or struggles or challenges, and sometimes I just come at them with a solution, but I shouldn't do that. I need to hold space for myself. I need to hold space for other people, and I need to learn how to just sit and to just be and to just listen, but also to observe and not absorb. Don't let it become part of me, because sometimes I have a hard time with that boundary. So I will be more intentional this week, less reactive, which is a scary promise to make when I'm about to start fasting and I get hangry, but I'm working on it. All right, before we do our meditation, I'm going to do a quick Moonology drawing for you. You're not here to pull the cards, but maybe you can see how these cards might apply to your life. I'm just pulling the cards that are calling my name, calling your name, the ones that are calling out. And I pick 3 cards. I feel like 3 is a good number. Not overwhelming, enough to remember. Synchronicity. That's a good excuse to look out for those things that feel magical. For example, when people are car shopping, they tend to see the same car everywhere, the one that they're looking for. So what are you looking for? For me right now, I'm seeing plants everywhere because I want to grow like a plant. I want to be able to grow plants because I have a tendency to let them die. And I want a plant tattoo. And there's lots of plants at my school, so I'm seeing plants everywhere, especially ones with long leaves. It's a certain kind of plant that I'm seeing. Sometimes it's animals. For a while ago, when I was creating the cover of my book, I painted a fox, and I have a fox tattoo, and I saw 2 foxes within the span of days, which is weird because I've seen 3 foxes in my life. Well, if you don't count zoos. And that would be a synchronicity right there. It's just seeing a pattern of something that stands out to you. Face those fears. We all have fears, whether you admit them to yourself or not. So it's time to face them. For my experience, I'm facing the fear of becoming a yoga teacher. I feel like I'm not good enough to be one yet, but I'm reminding myself that I am learning, and there are going to be times where it's a struggle, but in the end, it's going to be worth it whether or not I become this big fancy yoga retreat teacher. You gotta take risks and face your fears because that's the joy in life. That's part of the journey. Those are the rewarding moments. And clear your energy. We all have things that we need to let go of. Attachments that don't belong to us anymore, don't belong to this present self. Maybe they belong to a past self, or maybe they don't belong to you at all. Maybe they're from your parents. This energy that you're holding on to, it's time to let go. So I'm going to end this video with a quick 1-minute meditation. So get comfortable. We're just going to practice our breathing. Close your eyes if you want to, or leave them open. This is how I reshift my attention anytime I notice I'm feeling overwhelmed or any emotion I don't want to be feeling. Take a deep breath in and exhale so slowly. Each time you breathe in, you imagine the color of peace, which might be blue, a deep blue like the ocean, a soft blue, maybe it's white. What does peace look like to you? Breathe it in and exhale. This time, as you exhale, you're going to imagine a different color of something you would like to release. Maybe it's anger, sadness, maybe it's frustration or irritation. Maybe for me, it's anxiety and stress. And what color would that be? So breathe in peace. Exhale, release any tension. Your exhale should be audible. You should be able to hear it. It doesn't have to be that long. You can just do it one time, anytime you need to redirect your attention. Or if you feel like you have a magic number, maybe like for me, I feel like my magic number is 3. So I like to take 3 deep, intentional breaths. That was a really short meditation. I don't have much experience teaching meditation yet, so thanks for bearing with me today while my frazzled brain gets through all these notes in a dark closet. If you watch this, props to you. You have brownie points in my book. Sending you all the love, and have a beautiful week.